I'd like to make a gratuitous observation before I do the treasurer's thing. It's personally disappointing and discouraging to me that fully half, if not more, of our members who took the time to come here tonight have since departed, since their one issue of in my backyard has been addressed, or else they've had an opportunity to throw rocks at the board. I just find that terribly discouraging. All right, that's my gratuitous comment for the night. Treasurer's report. The key financial indicator that now we're all familiar with, the trend continues. Our year-to-date income is roughly 48% below where it ought to be right now, due primarily to the same things we've talked about for the last 3 months. Cap fees are down, haven't sold any lots, prior year collections and legal fee recovery have not kicked in yet. On the other side of the ledger, income continues to be down. It's down year to date by some $44,000, about 33%. And again, we've got some expenses that have grown beyond where we'd like to see them. Primarily, our audit and tax return has become terribly expensive. But the good news is that for the most part, most of our accounts over which we have direct control are well under budget. So we're doing good on the things that we can control. Receivables are up again a little bit. We're going to get a full report on receivables from our new collections firm in next month's meeting. And I think that's all I would say, unless anyone has anything they want to. Chris?
I have a question. On page 2 of 3 of Ray's report, under audits and tax returns, he states year-to-date expenses and hits 132. I'm looking at the documentation, and I don't see anything that reflects anything close to 132. As a matter of fact, according to the data that we have, the actual expenditures are closer to 30. Help me to understand the discrepancy between Ray's comment and yours.
What's received and as we haven't received the full billing for that whole process.
I beg your pardon?
We haven't received the full billing for that process.
So it's an accounts receivable?
Yeah.
It is actually an accounts receivable, is that correct?
Wait a minute. No, let's, the amount that we have been billed by Alep's shop is some $50,000 through March. I can't speak for Ray, but I believe the number that you've got in there reflects last year plus this year.
Yeah, previous years.
So that's the difference.
That's not
All right, so it's not a year-to-date figure? If it's not a year-to-date figure, that's an adequate answer. However, the general manager's report cannot reflect it as a year-to-date figure if it's not. Fair enough?
Not only fair enough, it has to be changed for it.
I can't comment on his, all I can tell you
No, all I'm saying is that if his document says year-to-date 132 and your documentation says 50, and the reason for it is the overlap, then it is no longer a year-to-date number.
I agree.
And we cannot represent it as a year-to-date number.
I agree. My number is good.
I believe it.
Ray, would you modify your management report before it's put on record? Thank you.
Anything else?
I have just 2 comments, John, and both of these I've made to you already. In fact, a lot of comments I made to you, they don't deserve being brought to the board. These 2 do. On the page called Supplementary Information, which I believe is the first page of the LHCC budget, for LHCC financial report, there still is no assignment of any funds to the road budget.
There's an error on the sheet, and it will be corrected. As you know, I was out of town when this thing got published this time. I'm meeting with Kilmer, we're going to correct it. The monies are correct. There is no physical entry for roads here, but the monies are correct. The roads are properly accounted for elsewhere in this documentation.
There is, under your statement of revenues and expenses, it does show the amounts.
The supplemental information sheet is incorrect, Wayne.
Okay, you agree that under designated funds, the road funding should be set aside designated funds?
Yes. There's an error on this sheet, and it'll be corrected.
Okay, and And Ray, this is as much for you as the treasurer. If you look at page O,
Do you have any financials for the audience tonight?
Ray, this is the, for everybody's benefit, this is the clubhouse expenditures. And it would clear, if you look at 2007 year-to-date totals, that Lake Holiday LLC has put in $21,000. And we put in $321,000. I believe we had an agreement that the order of spending would be first from Lake Holiday LLC, second from the reserve fund, and third from the loan. This does not reflect that order of precedence. Can you explain it?
Again, there's an error on this sheet. If you go back to Ray's comic book colored sheet, in his part of the report, you'll see that we have in fact received $180,000 from Lake Holiday LLC.
So it's,
So this sheet needs to be corrected, and I'll work that with him.
the error is with the bookkeeper, not with the process.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
I want to thank you for the improvements.
Well, they're largely designed by you all, so
Well, I've kind of beat you up for how many meetings?
a few.
So I think a thank you and an appreciation and acknowledgement is acceptable. Will you take that?
I accept that. Thank you.
Okay.
We're not there yet, but we will be.
It clearly shows improvement. And agreed. Not there, but it shows improvement. Wouldn't you agree with me?
Absolutely. That wasn't easy. Any further comment on the treasurer's report? Questions?